Hello everyone, this is Foxhound coming back again with another quick overview. And by overview means this ship has not come out yet, but I think it's important for us to have a good look on this thing. So this is going to be the CN Project 1143E coming soon. So this is going to be pretty much a carrier. And they said that this was pretty much a ship that they used to be back in the day. That he has been redone because this was something that was done back on the day on China 97. So it has been quite some time, but they decided to take this ship and improve it. So what are they offering in this ship? And let's put it this way, this is going to be a carrier before anything else, right? And it's going to include, just bear in mind over here, because we're going to have a discussion if this is going to be equal, worse, or better than Charles de Gaulle. So this thing is going to have a missile battery locked. One of them is going to have a slot with 2 missile batteries. It's going to have 2 strike fighters, which is similar, the same as Charles de Gaulle's, but one of them is locked, which is the CAC-BOTL. So we're going to have 1 strike fighter, whereas the second slot is going to be pretty much any strike fighter that we want to put in there. Now we are going to have 1 helicopter, a total of 2 locked autocannons, 4 autocannons that we can customize, and a total of 6 air defenses that we can put in. Okay, in the description they say that they want to make this carrier some sort of alternative, let's put it this way, that if the match is, for example, in the middle or at the end, you can decide not just to stay in the back, but to go up front and actually help your teammates with their missiles. That's what they are saying. Let me tell you my thoughts about this carrier before anything else. Okay, so how can I put it in words? Is this going to be better, worse, or equal as Charles de Gaulle? The simple answer is depends on the capability of this strike fighter that is locked on this carrier. Okay, the CAC-BOTL. It happened in the past, for example, with in both ways, if we can say so ourselves, right? The Almirante Brawl, for example, has a fixed helicopter and is considered a beast of a helicopter, one of its kind, the best of the game, that of course is locked to Almirante Brawl. But we also have instances when we have a locked strike fighter, for example, I forgot the name of the Electoplan, but it was only 1 locked strike fighter and it came on a squadron of 1. So yes, because of that, it was not like something you're going to consider like, wow, it's going to be very good. No, it's actually not so good for air, let's put it this way. Bartini, I remember that, Bartini, with the Electoplan. So in here we have a locked, as you can see, aircraft. So again, as I mentioned, if this carrier is going to be equal, worse, or better than the Charles de Gaulle, one of these main things is going to be dependent on this thing over here, the CAC-BOT. Is this going to be equal or as close as, for example, the Su-39? If the answer is yes, then right out of the get-go you have a very strong case to say that this is going to be the best carrier in the game. However, if that strike fighter tends to be like average, mid, or low, then it is not going to be, taking into consideration, of course, capability for air, it's not going to be better than the Charles de Gaulle, because Charles de Gaulle can use 2 Su-39s. Then you're going to say, Foxhound, but this one has a good armament. Okay, so let's discuss this over here. Charles de Gaulle has 4 helicopters that mostly are going to be used to defend yourself against ships or submarines, let's put it this way. But it doesn't have armament in it. This thing has only 1 helicopter, which in my opinion is going to be mainly used for taking out submarines. We'll have to see how creative we get into that. But in addition to that, we are pretty much, let's put it this way, sacrificing 2 helicopters by having the capability of having an autocannon over here. And this is the trick. With this autocannon, you have the flexibility to put, for example, the FSG and that enables you to be immune pretty much to submarines. Yeah, so that's something that is happening over here. Or you can decide and say, look, I mean, I don't care about submarines at all, which is a fair point. I have been using Charles de Gaulle for quite some time, and to be frank, there is some moment when I really don't care about submarines, because if you are winning the game, if you are playing to win, you are going to have ILS alive. So they will be able to help you deal with submarines anyways, but that's the point. This gives you the flexibility to say, look, I am going to have a build that is going to help me be immune to submarines, or I'm going to have a build in which I can decide to have even more air defenses than the Charles de Gaulle. For example, again, Charles de Gaulle has a total of 7 air defenses. 2 of them are locked, yeah? Whereas here, we have the capability, for example, to put a Airhawk 6 Sigma, and all of a sudden now you have a total, instead of 6, you have a total of 10 air defenses. So that's a lot of air defenses if you neglect your defense against submarines. And that is totally viable, in my opinion, because as you progress on ranked, you're going to see that most people are using SLBMs anyways. They're not coming close to you. But even if they decide to come close to you, you can just switch the armament and you are good to go. So you have that flexibility. Air defense wise, this has the same amount of armament as Enterprise regarding air defenses. You have a total of 6 over here. But again, you can choose what to put. You have a configuration of 3 on 3, meaning you can put a lasers on one, like Alka, and then you can decide to put in the other one whatever you want, Talos, KSAM, or even another laser if you want, like HPLS 100. So, right out the get-go, I'm telling you, based on the description, I believe this strike fighter is going to be a gacha. I believe. Just because, again, these type of ships are the ones that bring more money to the game, simple as that. As it happened with Charles de Gaulle. So I think this will be the gacha ship, by all means. We don't know when it's coming. It may be tomorrow, it may be after 1 week. Hopefully it's not that long. I wish it's not on Monday. It's such a bad move to move it on Monday because, of course, we have to work, right? We are not just at home doing nothing. Well, I'm saying it's a bad thing. If you're able to do that, great. But the point being is that, well, I think this is going to be a gacha ship. So, again, missiles very good. You have the flexibility over here to put, for example, defend against submarines with Blue Shark, or defend against air with HQ-29, or any other alternative. So, what do I have to think about this carrier? And just in case you can see the image over here, I think this is going to be the strike fighter, yeah, that is locked into the carrier. It's from China, as expected, Chinese event, Chinese strike fighter. So that's going to be the one. That's how it looks like. It looks like an advanced strike fighter. Something else to consider, you see the shape, it has this big nose in the front. Not such a big deal, but we'll have to see the dimensions in game if it's going to be an issue for you to hide more, if you're going to be bigger. We will have to see. But, well, it's not such a big issue, but it's there to consider. Yeah, so what are my thoughts about it? Again, my ranking on this carrier will depend on how good the strike fighter is. If it's going to be average, then Charles de Gaulle I think will be best. We have other assault carriers, for example, let's say Tianjin, right? Which they actually were telling us, look, go to the front with your assault carrier and help your team in front. But in reality, I mean, people understand that you can do more damage, more guaranteed damage using planes. But nevertheless, we have to see a lot of things. We don't have the characteristics of this strike fighter over here. So we will just have to stay put. When it comes, of course, I'm going to try to do a review on this. I may need to pull it out. I can take a bullet from you guys. But well, that's why we're here, right? So remember to like, comment, and subscribe if you reached this far. Tell me what are your thoughts. You are going to take this into account. Yes, no, is it worth it, not worth it? Looks beautiful, looks weird, whatever it is. Put it in the comments. And yeah, we're going to take that into account. Aside of that, thank you very much for popping by. I wish that you have a wonderful weekend. From that point onwards, I have to say thank you very much for coming, and this is Foxhound signing off. Have a good day, everyone.